and let's look at the requirements for this honor. So, as you can see, there's two types of patches, right? I found two, but usually the bottom one is the one that you should get if you complete the honor. So we have 7 requirements overall. So I'm gonna go through them quickly and then we'll go through each one of them after. So the first requirement we have is to explain what is meant by the term media. We have to give 4 examples, and we also need to explain what is meant by the term critic. Requirement number 2 tells us to discuss 3 principles to help us form good reading, viewing, and listening habits. And these are very important because we do these things every day, children, every day. Requirement number 3, keep a log of the time you spend each day with the different types of media. Note whether the media is Christ-centered or secular. Do this for 2 weeks. Let's look at the other 4. Requirement number 4, do one of the following with an adult. Watch TV, read a story, or listen to a tape or a podcast, for example. Requirement number 5, become a media critic and discuss together the good and bad points of media. Requirement number 6, with an adult, use a television guide, book club listing, or any other ways to choose what you could watch or read. And finally, requirement number 7, listen to the beginning of a short story and add your own ending. Okay, so let's start with requirement number 1. So before we start, these are things you will need. So you'll need a Bible. You're gonna need a pencil. You know, use a pencil. It's always better to use a pencil than a pen because then you can rub out if you make any spelling mistakes. You also need an eraser, rubber, some paper, and also later it's going to be uploaded the worksheet so you can transfer that into the worksheet after. And enthusiasm. We need lots of enthusiasm today, not for only this honor but for all honors. Okay, so let's start. Requirement number 1, explain what is meant by the term media. Give 4 examples. So what is media? Have any of you guys heard about the word media before? I'm curious to know.
Well,
I know you guys are young. Yeah.
Eunice, you do not know our adventurers. Adventurers, please put it in a chat section or a comment section on Facebook. What is media? I can tell you very soon. We have some PhD adventurers here for sure. And things that people still say Happy Sabbath. I do apologize.
Happy Sabbath.
What is media?
Happy Sabbath.
Yes. Everybody who's watching on the Facebook, if you can, please do hit the like button and share this live stream because that helps us big time. So what is media? Let me just check here. Alrighty. Okay. Typing is not the easiest for our adventurers, but they do not give up that easily. We would like also to just mention Pastor NJ just joined, who is our Scottish Mission Pathfinder Director. And we also have, I think, Roxana, who is Irish Mission Adventurer Director. So here it is. People are saying something. People can talk to each other, or FaceTime is media, or audio, something like this. So yeah, media is social media. Okay.
We've got anything on computers, laptops, TV, or a phone, and many more, or using the internet.
Thank you for that. You know, some of those things are actually devices. So like an actual TV, an actual phone is a device, but it's through that we consume media. So you guys are actually correct. So well done for that. So I found a very simple, very easy to digest definition here. Media are forms of communication that reach a large number of people. So can you tell me one form of communication that reach a large number of people, children? I can't see the chat, but is that okay?
All right. Oh, don't worry. We'll make sure that we read this for you. If you wouldn't mind, repeat the question once again for our adventurers.
So I'm going to repeat once again. Can you tell me one form of communication that you know that reaches a large number of people?
Somebody just said Instagram.
Well done. That's very good. Millions of people, actually.
A little bit boring. It's coming from adventurers, but it is true. Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Talk. Yeah. People are just going now. Our adventurers just started.
Wow, they know. That is great. You're all correct. So let's continue. Ooh, so I have a quick question before we continue. Can you guys fill out these two spaces? So media are forms of blank that reach a large number of blank. So can you put the 2 words in the chat?
Alrighty, so 2 words we're looking for, people. Let's do it. Adventurers are now putting their thinking hats. And
yeah, I'm testing your attention span.
Okay, people are saying the word communication and people.
Well done to whoever put those ones. Well done.
It was a Samuel and Michael. And also we get the same response from our Facebook audience. Is that right, Natalie? Who else wrote it there? Natalie has much better view there, but we have Jacqueline and a few others.
Yeah, okay, so let us continue. So what are some examples of media? You guys have told me this already. So we're just going to go through the examples that I've put here on the presentation. So television, what things do you watch in television? Anything, the news, programs, TV shows, all of these things are examples of media, things that we consume and that reach a large number of people, you know? So like, let's say we have Sky, we have Virgin Media. They kind of stream a lot of media to us, yeah? Let's continue. Another example of media, the radio. I'm not sure who still hears radio today, but it still exists.
You'll be surprised, the radio actually is growing once again.
Wow,
so yeah, it's getting back.
That's great, exactly. So radio is another way that we can consume media as well. Another way is quite traditional, actually. Newspapers and magazines. They are another form of media. Let's go again. Movies. Who likes to watch movies over here? And I think a lot of adventurers like to watch movies, right? And so they are another form of media as well. And what is this sign about? This sign is for music. We all love music, right? Ooh, we all love music. So that's also a form of media. We also have books, reading. And also the internet. So we have Google, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, like a lot of you mentioned. So well done, guys. You really have grasped the meaning of media and what it represents in the world that we live in. So well done to you. Let's continue. So media comes in many forms, as we have seen, right? It comes in various forms, but, comes in many forms. Well, the second part of requirement 1 is to explain what is meant by the term critic. And, you know, when I look at the term critic, when I see the word critic, I think, am I criticizing something? Is this something bad? But actually, no, it's not as bad as I thought it was at first. So let's see. What does it mean to be a critic? So let's think. The award is called Media Critic. So that means that by the end of this honor, of this award, we're going to be media critics. We'll be able to critique media, right? So then let's see, what do we have to do? So a critic is a person who evaluates, analyzes a creative work. So what do media critics do? Let's say they look at a show and they consume it and they are able to analyze it and evaluate that creative work. So creative work is anything that you consume on any type of media, any book, any show, any music. We're able to critique and evaluate, analyze if it's something good or bad, if we should consume that more or not, or stop consuming it. Let us continue. So even though media is great, we know that it can be used for good things or for bad things, you know, and many times media is meant to be neutral. You should have no sides. You shouldn't be not good, not bad, it should be in the middle. But sometimes these days, it tends to sometimes be good or bad. So we need to be careful. And that's why God calls us to be media critics, because we have to be careful with the things we consume. So let's continue. So why do we need to be careful? Because there's this thing called media messages. So media message is a message that a company or a person communicates through media. So anything that you consume is communicating something to you, right? Anything, even if it's the most easy thing, even if it's something so simple, they are communicating something to you. And the goal of these media messages is for you to persuade you, the audience, us that are watching, to do something, to buy something, or to believe in something. Wow. So they want to persuade us. They want us to do something, to believe in something. This is important. That's why it's so important for us to be media critics. Okay, children? So we're going to quickly watch this video that talks about media messages, and it's just spot on and it's very easy to understand. So let us come here, and I'm going to put full screen, and I hope you're able to hear it. Let me put it.
There are lots of different types of media. Each has different ways to giving us their message. We hear the radio. We see outdoor posters and videos. We use websites and online games that are interactive. The people who make the media choose the message they want us to hear and see. They also choose where to put the messages to ensure we see and hear as many as possible. Media products can be broken down into different parts: logos and brand names, visuals including images and colors, language, words, characters and animals, sound and music, celebrities, special offers such as free gifts, money off, buy one get one free, super size, 50% extra, or movie tie-ins. Each part is carefully placed to send particular messages to us, the audience. Stories, visuals, sounds, and images sometimes try to make us feel emotions that will make us think of the product. A need is something you have to have, something you can't do without. For example, air or water. A want is something you would like to have, like a particular pair of trainers or a bar of chocolate. Some things fit into both groups, such as food. Depending on the type of food, food can be something we need, like water, protein, fruit or vegetables, and something we want, like chocolate or sweets. As advertising taps into our emotions, it can also influence what we think we need and want. It's up to you to see the difference.
Okay. So I hope you liked the video. Let's go again. So we can see that media messages are very important, you know, and a lot of companies out there, they gain a lot of money because they're really great in communicating media messages, into telling the audience, you know what, you need this, when sometimes you don't need it. So that's why we need to be careful and be critical in our thinking. So instead of thinking about our emotions and how we want it, we think, okay, do I need it or do I want it, right? So let us continue. So for us to become media critics, we need to learn something very important: how to deconstruct media messages. So imagine you have a puzzle, right? You have a puzzle. Now you need to deconstruct the puzzle to understand each piece. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to have to ask ourselves 4 questions, 4 main questions. And you can practice this with your parents at home. It's very useful and it's very good practice to have. So the first question we should ask: who is the source of the message? So here I have an ad from Pizza Hut, and I know maybe a lot of us love pizza. I don't know who loves pizza, but I like pizza, right? And so who is the source of the message? So in this message, we can see that the source of the message is Pizza Hut, right? The company. Okay, second question: how is it trying to get my attention? So now we need to think about the text they're using, the colors, if there's sounds, we need to think about the sounds, all these images that they're using to get our attention, for us to look at. So we can say that 2 for 1 large pizzas is quite big. It's quite big. We can look at it and just say 2 for 1. And we know that when you see 2 for 1, that means that you get 2 pizzas, but you only pay for 1. So that means that the other one, it's free. So you think, wow, I have 1 free pizza. I think I will want to buy that pizza then because I get 1 free. So this is a way for us to deconstruct a message. And how could this message be interpreted? I just done it. They want us to buy 1 pizza and the other one, we get it for free. And we get 2 large pizzas, and they put the large quite big. And when we think about big, especially a food, we get excited because like, okay, more food, that's good. That makes me feel good. You know, so it will make us want to buy it and to purchase pizzas from Pizza Hut. So, and then also we need to ask ourselves, is a message fair and trustworthy? Because many times the media will try to tell us something that it may not be true, that it may not be realistic, and we need to be very careful. And that's why, sorry? Did I say something? Oh, and so we need to be very careful because sometimes the media might tell us something that it may not be true. And that's why we need to be very critical and be media critics, okay? So now we're gonna have practice time. And also before I go practice time, I just want to say that here, I have 2 other links that explain more about about deconstructing media messages, and they're very useful. So I encourage you to click on them in your own time. Okay, let's practice. Okay, let's practice. So we have an ad from Lego. And now this is the time that you guys are gonna have to do a little bit of work. Okay, children? So I wanna see you guys typing. And so who is the source of the message of this ad, for example? You know, who is responsible for this message? Think about the company. Think about the company.
There's a question there. Who's responsible for this message? Who is the source? Oh, the answers are flying in already. We have a Lego.
Well done. You're absolutely correct. We need to, when looking about media messages, we need to think who is the source, because it can reveal that by knowing who is the source, who created that message, we sometimes can understand their intention behind that message. So it's very important to know who created the message first and foremost. And you guys got it absolutely correct. So well done. It was Lego. Second question. How is he trying to get my attention? And now think about anything. Think about the text in the bottom. Think about the colors. Think about what is happening. What is the little, what is the young boy doing? What is he becoming? Think. Just look at the ad, look at the image and think. How is he trying to get my attention? How is he getting your attention right now? What is going through your mind when you look at this image? Can you guys tell me on the chat as well, please? And on Facebook as well.
All right, the answers are slowly coming in. It says a boy in a big fireman suit. In other words, it gives a message of you can be the big fireman. Somebody said it sends the message of you should buy a lot of Legos. A firefighter, a fireman. So these are the messages from our Zoom chat. When it comes to
Facebook is saying firefighter.
Well,
by saying that kids can do big things. The image through the image being used and its colors.
Well done. You guys are absolutely correct. Every answer is absolutely correct. They are trying to get our attention, you know, by just placing the young boy building this firefighter suit with lots of Legos. And here in the bottom, he says, build the future. So what is that communicating to us? So, okay, before I go into that, because that's a third question. So well done. Thank you so much. She's trying to get our attention because of the big firefighter being built. Okay, let's go to the third question, which you guys already have answered and have interpreted. Well done for that. So he says here, build the future. So what is he telling us, children? Because Lego tries to appeal for parents who have children. So for children, because children play with Legos. Even though I know some adults that play with Legos as well, but let's focus on the children for now. And so they are telling us that using Legos, playing with Legos, it help us be creative. They help us to build our future, to envision our future, to be who we are, to build what we want to be, right? So this is quite important. So they're just telling us, you know, you should buy Legos because this helps you to build your future, to be what you want to be, right? And so this is the message that we can get. So do you think the message is fair and trustworthy? Do you think is realistic? Do you think is real?
Yeah.
Can you answer me on the chat?
Very good question. Adventurers, let's give our answers. And they're slowly flying in. Oh, somebody says yes. Somebody says maybe. All right. So yes and no. This is going to be a very mixed answer. Like you can see, imagine what's happening on Facebook. Is there any answers there?
Oh, somebody's saying a very definite no on Facebook.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Somebody's hedging their bets, yes and no.
Ooh.
So guys,
Think you're gonna have to tell us.
yeah. Well, in my opinion, and now I'm on the seat of being a media critic. Okay, we all on the seat of being media critics right now. You know, it's nice to think about what we want to be when we grow up. That's important, right? That makes us look forward to growing up and working hard to have that job, right? But you can't really build your job through Legos, if you get what I mean, right? But of course, they're using symbolism and is not literal. So this specifically is not what's it called, realistic. We can't get inside the suit and build it and there you go, we are a firefighter and I'm 8 years old. It's not really realistic, but it's giving us hope. So I would say, so we need to pay attention that sometimes the ads, they exaggerate information, they exaggerate the reality of things. So it's good to know, okay, they are exaggerating, and it's good to acknowledge that and know that sometimes those things are not real, okay? So let us move on. And so just wanted to say that this deconstruction media messages is a very important skill, children, is very important. And that's why we're doing it today, because we live in a society, in a culture that there's so many media messages in our parents' phones. When we go out with our parents, when we go to the supermarket, we see cereals, we see chocolate. They're all trying to get our attention. They all want us to buy it. When, especially now, guys, we're almost in December, and we know the season of December. People love to sell presents and everything. And when we go to the supermarket with our parents, what do we see? Presents, lots of presents, right? So we need to be very careful and be media critics when we go outside as well. Let us continue. So how can we control the media that we see and watch? That's a really good question that we all should ponder in our minds. We need to learn to choose something that is good, that does us well, our minds.
Close our eyes.
And that is helpful as well, children. Let us continue. Requirement 2, discuss 3 principles that help us form good reading, viewing, and listening habits. Okay, so this verse here is very important, children, and I'm going to read it to you. And pay very much attention to the keywords I have put in the red color. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report or admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. Wow. So let's go back here. 3 principles. We need to find 3 principles here. And God is giving us how many? 8 different principles, how to form good viewing and reading habits. So we need to choose things that are noble, that are praiseworthy, that are just, that are lovely, that are true, that are pure to our minds, because we can easily pollute our minds with things that are not good. So God is telling us and advising us to choose wisely the things that we watch, right? And so we should use Philippians 4:8 as a guideline to help us in that. Okay, children? So make sure you hold on to this verse tightly when doing this honor. It's very important. Let's go to requirements 3. Keep a log of the time you spend each day with the different types of media. And I've created, you can find this also on the worksheet, and I've created this log, which is quite easy to complete. So at the start of the week, so on a Sunday, you and your parent, your mother or your dad or your parents, every day that you consume any type of media, you write down what you did. So let's say today I watched a gospel movie. Then you can put it here on the under the Christ-centered tab. Sunday I watched this movie, and you put the name of the movie. Or maybe a secular activity that you could have done could be playing football or doing basketball or doing exercise outside. So you can put under that, under the secular, for example. So any activities dealing with the media that you have done, you just put it under each thing for 2 weeks straight, okay? So you do this alongside your parents, and it's gonna be very fun. And it will make you be more aware of the things that you are doing. But be aware, please. Be very aware when you are doing the log. Be aware of the time you spend with Jesus compared with the time spent on secular activities. Because many times we can just forget to pray. We can forget to do our Sabbath school. We can forget to do something that we were meant to do that is Christ-centered. But we need to know we need to remind ourselves that Christ is priority in each of our lives, even children. Christ comes where? Comes first. First is the first thing that comes in our life. So when you wake up, you pray, and make sure you pray and you do your sub school with your parents and everything, okay? So be very aware of the time you're spending with Jesus and the time you're spending doing other things that are not Christ related. But also remember that you can live a life with Christ 24/7. You can play football, you can play basketball, do an exercise, go to the park and think about Jesus, contemplate his character as well, okay? So it's not something, oh, today I'm going to pray and after I'm going to leave Jesus. No, he's always with you. We are always with him, okay? Let us continue. So requirement number 4, do one of the following with an adult. Watch TV, read a story, or listen to a tape. So for that, so select a story or program that meets Jesus' standards. So remember the verse I read to you, Philippians 4:8. You have to use that as a guideline. There you can find all the principles that we need to use when selecting the right show, the right music, the right book to pick. Use that verse as a guideline to guide you whether you should watch it or consume it or not, okay? So we can call it Jesus' standards. Those are Jesus' standards. And if they are Jesus' standards, that means that they are our standards as well. So let us continue. So I have found a link, a very good link about online programs, suggestions for you guys to watch. And I also found online story suggestions and podcast suggestions. And I'll quickly show you guys here. Ooh, I'm just gonna do that because I can't see the links properly. So for example, these are the children's stories that I found. They're very good. So in your own time, you and your parents can come and read them. And also here you have videos for kids during social isolation or any time that you are free. And there's loads of suggestions. They're really fun, guys. I really do recommend you guys to consume this. And I found this book as well for young readers and has so many stories for you guys to read about the Bible as well, which is very edifying.
So Eunice, just to let people know that when they download the presentation, that all the links will be available directly from there, and we'll put that on the website after the weekend.
Thank you. So, as Natalie has rightfully mentioned, within the presentation, I have all the links. And for example, here you can see, click here. If you see this button in any slide, that means it's clickable. You can click it and it will take you to a tab in your web browser and you'll see the page. And lastly, you have podcasts. Yes, there's podcasts for kids. I didn't even know that until I went to research. But there's many podcasts, really useful podcasts that we can learn loads of things as well about Jesus, about the Bible. So I do recommend that for you guys to check out as well.
My son is an adventurer and loves Discovery Mountain. It's a lovely series. Voice of Prophecy, I think.
You guys heard it. Go watch it. Have lots of things to do on the Sabbath and on the other days of the week as well. So when you begin reading or viewing something, make sure if you realize it's something not good, just stop. It's best to stop than continue, okay? And sometimes we're like, but I don't know if I should watch it. I don't know. If you don't know, it's best to not watch it. Because a lot of times we think we doubt and we still do it because we're not sure. And that's wrong, because if you have a doubt, that might just be the Holy Spirit telling you, don't watch that, be careful. And sometimes you should go back to our parents and ask them, you know what, like there's this program, but I wasn't sure if I should watch it. Could you help me? And then they will help you, and you guys can ask yourself those questions to deconstruct the media message and understand if it's good or bad. Let us continue. And also remember, God gave us what? Free will. God gave us the free will to do anything that we want in this earth, anything. But make sure that you do the right choice. He gave us free will, but he gave us the guidelines. And where can we find the guidelines? Can someone guess? Where can we find the guidelines? Can you write it on the chat?
Let's go, adventurers. Bible. Yep. Who said first?
Well done.
Kenyo. And everybody else. Well done, champions.
Well done is in the Bible. Not only for select the right media that we should consume and view and read, but also for our whole lives. The Bible is our guideline, okay? So remember, we have free will, but that doesn't mean that we should do everything we want. We should do what God advises to do, because he knows better than us what things are good for us and what things are bad for us, okay? And even if you don't understand today why God said this or said that, we just have to trust that he has his best interest at his heart. Okay, let us continue. Requirements number 5, become a media critic and discuss the good and bad points of media. So I have compiled a few good points and bad points about media. Like I told you in the beginning, media can be good, but it can be bad as well. And that's why we need to be careful and know how to control the media that we consume in our homes, right? So good points about media. So it allows information to be shared quickly. So some of you mentioned social media. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we can share that so easily. Just get a link, you share it to your friend or to your mom or to anyone else. So it can be shared very quickly. A lot of people can watch something so quickly. It can get millions of views. It can become viral. So reach a lot of people in a short amount of time. Also, it's a great outlet for people to learn more about other people's beliefs and values. So we not only stay in our own head and only things that we know, but we get to know other things outside of our homes, other cultures out there. And that's very important, because we need to know that there's other things going on out in the world. It's important to know about these things. Also, we can provide us with a huge amount of news and of entertainment quite easily. That's very true. Let's talk about YouTube. I know that maybe a lot of you spend some time in YouTube because there's loads of content in there, loads of content. And that's very important for you to be media critics, because not all content is good for you to consume, especially as a Christian, right? Okay, let's continue. You can also give voice to the voiceless. So let's think. A lot of children out there, if it wasn't for the internet, for example, they maybe wouldn't be able to know about the news or know about many things that are happening. And we can see that a lot of children out there, they are now famous because they were fighting for social causes, for social injustices. And that's really important. So the internet, especially the internet, gives voice to all of us to express ourselves, to express our views and our ideas. Like today, we are on Zoom. We are on Zoom talking about media, being a media critic. We are also streaming our Zoom session on Facebook. right? So that's amazing. That's really a blessing. It also can boost business. So businesses these days, they are all online because they can reach people quickly, more quickly than maybe if it was a billboard outside or an ad on a TV. And also it can keep us connected. I know, I'm not sure, but you guys probably talk with your family that's outside of your country or far away through your phones, through WhatsApp video call, for example, through Zoom, through Skype. There's many ways. So it keeps friends and family connected, right? But what are some of the bad points about media? Ooh, it can spread false news and rumors. That is true. Fake news. Have you guys heard about those two words together? It's a big thing. Fake news. News are not true. News are spread. They just have fake information. And that's why it's so important to be media critics, to deconstruct the message and say, where does this come from? Is this true? Because sometimes we can't just get one link and say, okay, this is the whole truth. This is truth. Sometimes we need to search a bit further to just confirm that what they are saying is correct. It can also influence us to develop bad values. That is very true, children. That is very true. Sometimes the media influences to sleep late, to watch things we shouldn't watch, to say words we shouldn't say, to treat others in ways that we shouldn't treat. And that's why, again, we need to be media critics every day because we consume media all the time, okay? And lastly, it can overtake personal connections. Many times, I'm in the table, imagine you're in the table and you guys are all eating, your family, and now you're on the phone. You're on your phone. This is not good as well, because we need to value the connections we have with our friends and family. And sometimes we want to play games, we want to be on your phones, on our laptops, and we forget that spending time with people is more important than spending time with technology and media, okay? So let's bear this in mind. Requirement number 6. With an adult, use a television guide, book club listing to choose what you could watch or read. So this is very important. With your parents or with an adult, you guys can select a number of programs, of books, of stories that are good, that do good in your mind, that influence you to do better, to be a better child, to be a better person. And you then on the worksheet, you just write down the things that you guys chose to consume, okay? So you can use the guidelines from Philippines 4:8. You can use, those are the guidelines. Remember, Philippines 4:8 is very important. That gives the guidelines to select the right things to watch, view, or read, okay?
Yeah.
And last but not least, the last requirement, number 7, listen to the beginning of a short story and add your own ending. Children, use your own imagination, okay? Just think about amazing things and just write. And so the beginning of the story, I wrote it here and I'll just quickly read it. It says, I wasn't on my way to school one morning when I suddenly saw a little girl by the side of the road crying. It had been raining and there was a lot of water in the street. Her clothes were soaking wet, and I realized that someone had splashed her. I felt sorry for her and use your imagination now. You see this little blue person? Just imagine, use your imagination. Remember, God gave us imagination for a reason. It's okay to think about amazing things. So just write what goes through your mind and be creative. And, it's a space for you to just be yourself. And you can complete this on the worksheet as well that will be available to you guys. And we came to an end. You are now a media critic. Well done. You are now equipped to be a media critic. And remember, being a media critic is not like once a week, it's every day, because media is in our culture, is everywhere we go, everything we consume. When we're watching the preaching of today, we consume media. But it's a good media, actually. That's good media. And when we are in sub school, the online Zoom, we are consuming media again. So it's everywhere. Every day we are consuming. So it's important to be media critics every day, okay? Children, remember this. I hope you enjoy this award, and well done. You have